bulwark of liberty, protecting the inalienable rights of free people, serving unstintingly and without prejudice to maintain the laws of our land. A grand jury.
Kennedy? You're John Kennedy, aren't you?
That's right.
You don't remember me.
Well, your face is familiar.
Jack Dolan. 5 years ago, when you were still in the police force, you nailed me on an armed robbery charge.
Oh, yeah. How long you been out?
6 months, and I want to stay out. That's why I'm here.
Oh, you can talk freely. This is my partner, Harry Driscoll.
Hello.
Last night, some woman called me. I didn't know who she was, but she asked me to meet her at Mac's place on 86th and Edgewood.
Go ahead.
Well, I met her. She was blonde, good-looking, lots of class. Maybe 35, 40 years old.
What did she want with you?
She wanted me to kill a man. Offered me $5,000 for the job. Had a setup for me, she said. Of course, I turned it down.
She didn't say who she was or who she wanted killed?
No, sir. I just said no, and she left. Well, that's it, Mr. Kennedy.
Did you tell anybody else?
I went to the police department looking for you, and they said you were working here for the grand jury, so I came here looking for you.
Will you repeat that story for the grand jury?
If it'll keep me out of trouble, sure.
Let me see if I can set up with the foreman right now.
You did right coming here, Dolan. Now, if she should call you again, stall her. Maybe even play along. Find out what she has on her mind.
Report to you?
Yeah.
You can go in, Dolan. They'll hear you now. Well, what do you make of that?
I don't know.
That's right. We've got you to thank for these government orders. And I'm going to make you an equal partner.
I don't want that, Daniel.
Well, what do you want?
Everything. You've already had it. Now I want it.
Including my wife? Now, you look here, Earl. We're not children. Now, put that gun away and let's discuss this like men.
Of course, Daniel. Anything you say.
I know that it's my gun, and I know that only my fingerprints are on it. But I will tell you what I told the police. I did not kill my husband.
Mrs. Whittier, were you afraid of your husband?
No. I wouldn't say that.
What would you say?
We were... Well, estranged might be the right word. There was a 20 years age difference between us, and I wanted a divorce, and Mr. Whittier wouldn't hear of it. So naturally, living under the code's conditions was somewhat of a strain.
Was your husband jealous?
Mr. Whittier had several important government contracts, and he felt that any scandal, such as a divorce might bring, would jeopardize his position in Washington.
Mrs. Whittier, you haven't answered my question. Was your husband jealous of, say, your relationship with Mr. Bradford?
There was nothing wrong with my relationship with Mr. Bradford. We've been good friends for many years. And it was our intention, when I got my divorce, to be married.
But your husband wouldn't give you that divorce, so you deliberately shot and killed him.
I didn't kill him, I swear it. I didn't kill my husband.
Mrs. Whittier, you may step down from the stand and wait in the waiting room, please.
Terrible, just terrible.
It's criminal to put you through all this.
Earl, they think that I did it.
Don't worry, darling. We'll get the best lawyers money can buy.
Dolan? This way, Mr. Dolan.
Earl, do you know that man?
I haven't the slightest idea. He seemed to know you, though.
I know, that's what seems so strange about it. I don't ever remember having seen him before.
Whatever they want him for, we'll find out sooner or later. It'll work out for the best.
Did you identify Mrs. Whittier in the police lineup, Mr. Dolan?
No, sir. She was in a room with 5 other women. I could see them through a one-way window. And I picked her out. She was one who tried to hire me to do the job.
I've known Mrs. Whittier for the entire 14 years that I've been associated with her husband, her late husband, in the aircraft manufacturing business. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Whittier is not capable of committing such a hideous crime.
Isn't it perhaps possible that you were prejudiced a little in favor of Mrs. Whittier?
Perhaps.
Well, if there are no more questions. Thank you very much, sir. You may sit down.
Not at all.
Well, the evidence was against her. We had to hand down that indictment.
It's never very pleasant when a woman is involved.
Well, it's more than just following the letter of the law, Mr. Thompson. Frankly, I'm bothered. Harry? John?
Well, from my experience as a policeman, I have my doubts too, Mr. Grant.
What kind of doubts, Kennedy?
In premeditated murder, I don't think a criminal would act in haste or throw the revolver in a nearby hedge where it can easily be found.
Suppose she merely meant to frighten her husband.
And then shot him during a so-called emotional upheaval?
Exactly. Then she panicked and ran from the scene of the crime.
Well, if that were the case, Mr. Thompson, I think she'd have made some kind of plea instead of insisting on her innocence. You know, self-defense, temporary insanity, something like that.
Well, there's another aspect of this case that